Good evening, everyone. Okay, tonight's topic is on Dhamma and love, family love, romantic love, and marriage. Okay, love is something that all of us need for our happiness in life. Being a human being, we have emotions, okay? And we need the support of love from the people around us. So actually, love is a source of happiness to our life, okay? When we receive love from people, we feel warmed, okay? And we feel being accepted, we feel being supported, that we are being supported by someone. And on the other hand, if we don't receive any love from people around us, we feel very miserable, right? We feel very cold, very hollow inside, very lonely. Okay? So love is a very important element in order for us to be happy. Okay? And indeed, we have been dependent on others' love for our development and growth since young. From young, when we are born, we have been dependent on our mother's love to care for us, the way the mother cuddles the baby, giving love to the baby, nursing the baby, feeding the baby, washing for us. We have been showered with all this love. That's why we can grow and develop. Okay? And it is mainly because of the love that our parents show us that we can develop healthily, okay, physically, in terms of physically and emotionally. So love is very important in our life. Okay, and as we grow older, we will experience different kinds of love. Love from the teachers, love from our friends, okay? And as youngsters, young women, young men, they're attracted to the people of the opposite gender, and they look forward to romantic love. Romantic love is a kind of love that people experience when they are with the opposite sex, with opposite gender, okay? Whereby you feel loved, being loved by someone of the opposite gender, okay? And this romantic love usually gives people a very high feeling, excited feeling, that you'll be loved by someone, okay? And as this romantic love continue to mature and blossom, it will usually end up in marriage. And marriage is not only based on romantic love, okay? Marriage is a lifelong partnership whereby you want to share your life. You want to walk the rest of your life with this person, okay? And you are willing to care and love this person the rest of your life. That's marriage. So with marriage, there comes responsibilities and duties. It's not only romantic love, okay? Now, let us look at this love. Since we said that, it is something very crucial it's a source of happiness to our human life. Love should not be taken for granted. Love needs to be nurtured and needs to be maintained. Like family love. Yes, we see the importance of family love to us, for our growers, for our emotional stability. Then how do we maintain this family love? The most important people in a family is being the parents. So as husband and wife, they have duties to fulfill in order to maintain a love in a family. Okay? So the Buddha did give advice to how the husband should fulfill the duties towards the wife, And how should a wife fulfill the duties towards the husband in order to maintain a harmonious relationship? Okay? So, for the husband, his duty towards the wife is he has to give the wife, he has to honor and respect the wife. Because the Buddha knows that men are usually more egoistic, more domineering. So the Buddha advised that being a husband, you must honor and respect your wife. You should not be authoritative and want your wife to submit to you. You have to honor and respect her, okay? And then you have to give due authority to her for her to run the domestic affairs. Because usually the man will be the breadwinner, okay? He has to work. And then usually the family matters, the domestic affairs are taken care of by the wives. So as a husband, he has to give the due authority to his wife to run the domestic affairs. Okay? And he has to be faithful to his wife. Faithful in terms that he should not have any extramarital affairs outside. He should not fall in love again with another woman. Okay? And this is a very important factor because once you are married, you don't have this right anymore to look for romantic love outside. And this applies to both husband and wife. In order to maintain a good marital relationship, the husband and wife must know that they don't have such rights anymore to look for romantic love outside. Okay? And they have the duty to be faithful to their own spouse. And faithfulness it's not only on the surface. He should not also think about another woman, or another man in his mind. Faithfulness is both in physical and mentally. He has to be faithful to the husband and wife, okay? To his or her spouse. And then the last duty that the Buddha mentioned that the husband should have towards the wife is he should provide her suitable adornments. He should buy her nice things, nice ornaments from time to time. Why? Why is that so? This is a show of love, a symbol of care. Okay? So this is the duty of the husband. Now, when your husband gives you some things, are you happy? Yes, right. You think, even if it's a small thing, you also think that, he has me in his mind. You feel happy. So you see, the Buddha knows about how our mind works. So he said, husband should give things to wife from time to time. Don't think that, we are married already, so many years already. Let's be thrifty, don't need to spend on this little money. What can one stalk of rose do? One stalk of rose, $3. I can buy you a lunch, and then this stalk of rose I'll give you. Tomorrow die already. Save on this money. Certain things when you do, okay, it's not, certain things you may think that it's a very small thing. That you have been married for so long. She will not be bothered about this. She will not care about this. Well, but this kind of little gesture, it will brighten. Brighten her heart. It will give new energy, okay, new feeling to the marriage. Okay, so this is important. So these are the 5 duties that the husband has to fulfill towards the wife. Okay, first, he has to honor the wife. Second, respect the wife. Third, okay, give her the due authority to run the domestic affairs. Fourth, to be faithful to her. And faithfulness, like what I say, is in body and mind. Okay? Not that now you're with your wife, but you're thinking of your colleague, okay? Or you're thinking of your girlfriend elsewhere. It's not like that, okay? And the 5th is that you have to buy her some ornaments from time to time, okay, as a show of love. And from the wife's side, what is the wife's duties towards the husband? So the advice, the wife has to organize her work properly, okay? Because usually the household chores, all this, the responsibility of household chores lie on the wife, okay? So the wife has to organize the work properly. She has to be faithful to her husband, and then she has to guard and save the hard-earned money of her husband. That means, in terms of expenses, all this, she must try to manage the family expenses wisely, okay? Not to be extravagant, and also not to be too thrifty. But whatever that needs to be spent, she has to be able to manage these expenses wisely, okay? And lastly, she has to be skillful and diligent in everything that she does, okay? So actually, the wife is like a very strong support in the family. So if the wife, being a wife, you can function well, okay? You actually play a very important role in the family, okay? You are the person who can bridge your husband and the children together. So the wife actually plays a very important role, okay? So this is the duties of the wife towards the husband. And then in other instances, the Buddha also mentioned about the virtues that a wife should cultivate, like being humble and contented, being hardworking, and then being dutiful towards the in-laws, and things like that. So actually all these virtues, not only does the wife need to cultivate, the husband also needs to cultivate also. The husband should also need to look after the in-laws, so his in-laws, okay? It's a reciprocal relationship. So if a husband and wife can fulfill their duties, okay, towards each other, then the marriage can function, the marriage can work, okay? Besides fulfilling duties, there are also certain qualities that a couple needs to take note of, okay, in order to maintain a good marital relationship. That is patience. To maintain good marital relationship, you need a lot of patience. Why? Because actually all of us are individuals. We come from different background. We have different thinking. We have different likes. Okay? And so, for two persons of different background, different likes, different habits, okay, to stay together, there are bound to be some conflicts. Okay? Before marriage, when you're not staying together, when you are not staying so close together, you will not see the habits of the other person so clearly. But once you stay together, you see all the habits so clearly. So we must have a lot of patience, and we must have a lot of understanding. We must know that no one is perfect in this world. Even ourselves, we are not perfect. We may think that we are very good, but actually we have our shortcomings also. Every one of us have our shortcomings. So towards your spouse, you have to have a lot of understanding. Okay? Look at her strength, look at his strength, and not at her shortcomings. On the other hand, we should look at our shortcomings, our own shortcomings, and see how we should improve on our own, on ourselves. Okay? So we must have total understanding, we must be able to give total understanding, and we must be accommodating, to be able to accept our spouse as the person that she is or he is. Okay? And in order to maintain a good marital relationship, communication is very important. Okay? Some people, they think, communication is very important. So, whatever unhappiness, I have to tell him that I'm not happy with this, that he should not do this, and things like that. Yes, communication is very important. But the skill of communicating is very important. How should we communicate with our spouse? Very important thing. When you are angry, don't say anything. Don't need to communicate when you are angry. Try to just observe your anger. Avoid explaining. Avoid, expressing your views when you are angry. Because when you are angry, you will not be able to see the other party's views. You only see your own view. And you just want to push your view forward. You just feel that you are right and the other party is wrong. So when you are angry, just keep quiet. Let your anger cool down first before you speak. And when you speak, very important, do not speak in a negative way. Some people, they use a negative tone, or don't use a negative tone and don't speak in a negative way. What is a negative way? Like some people, they will say that, yeah lor, I owe you one lor, don't know, you are my karmic debtor lor. This kind is very negative. Don't ever express in a negative tone, because this is very impressionable in other people's mind. And also, don't ever, count your merits in front of your spouse, saying that, how hard I work or not. Do you know how hard I slog for the family? I have to slog so hard at work that I come back so late. Don't ever count our merits like that. And as a wife, don't say that, how difficult I am or not to mend the house, to look after the children, to do the cooking and things like that, and you count your own merits. No, don't ever count your merits. Because once you count your merits, actually, even if you don't count your merits, the other party knows. Like, what is your husband doing? Your husband knows what you are doing. But if you were to start counting your merits, it just makes the other party feel negative. Because he will also think, I also work very hard, no? You think I have a good time outside? I have a lot of meetings to attend. I'm very stressful at work too, and things like that. So don't ever count on merits. And another thing, don't blame. When things don't go right, when things go wrong, don't blame. Don't blame people for our ill health. Yeah, Lord, I have cancer. Or because of you, Lord, you make me so sad. You make me so depressed. And things like that. Don't blame. Blaming is very hurting. It really spoils your whole relationship. No one is to be blamed. Okay? Conditions are such. If things happen in this way, yeah, this is the condition. Okay? We accept it. If we fall sick, yes, this is the condition. That nobody help us. We have to do the things alone. Who to blame? Or you said that, you because you were posted overseas for work, so I have to do everything myself. I have to take care of the children, send them to school, I have to do the household chores and things like that. Yeah, but who to be blamed? It's not that it's your husband's choice to be posted overseas, right? So never blame. When we can just accept things graciously, okay, your spouse will appreciate you. But if you start to blame and say that, because you are like that, Lord, and things like that, it makes the other person feel very negative. Okay? So in order for us to have good marital relationship, we must really be very forgiving. Forgiving. And very giving. Okay? Forgive the other party for whatever that you think that he should do and he has not done. Forgive the other party for whatever things that he has not done right. Okay? Or for the things that you feel that he should have done more and he has not fulfilled. You tell yourself it's okay. Everything is conditioned. If we can forgive like that, we can maintain the love in the family, the love in the marriage. So don't ever remember things that have happened 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 50 years ago, when I get married that day, what you do and things like that. No, don't do that. Okay? We should throw all these unhappy things. That's the funny thing with human beings. We like to keep unhappy things. Unhappy things is not good for us, we know. But yet, we remember. Usually our memories are stronger on unhappy things. So we have to learn to forgive. Not only forgive, to forget. Some people say, I forgive already, but I still remember. That is not good enough. We must totally forgive and forget, without any condition. You may think that, then he will never learn. He is always like that. Always so inconsiderate, always so selfish, then he will never learn. But if you don't forgive, will you be happy? You will not be happy. And if you don't forgive, will it do anything good to your relationship? It will not. Okay? So very important. We tell ourselves that we forgive wholeheartedly. Okay? Without any condition. We forgive. If we can forgive in this way, it will help in our relationship with our spouse. Okay? Every moment is a new moment. Every day is a new day. Appreciate the days that you have with your spouse. Okay? So these are certain qualities, certain virtues that we need to develop. Okay? Total understanding, total forgiving, okay? Patience, all these we must have in order to have a good marital relationship. Okay? And if you have a good marital relationship with a spouse, you will be able to give love to your children. It will be very conducive to the development and growth of your children. Okay? Otherwise, if you don't have a good relationship with a spouse, no matter how much you love your children, your relationship with your spouse will definitely have some impact on your children. Why? Because the children can feel it. You may think that, what do they know? They're still young. They don't know anything. Yes, they don't know. They may not know what you are unhappy about. But they feel. They know that mom and dad is not talking today. They're not talking. They're angry with each other. They can feel the anger. Once they feel the anger, it affects their mind already. Even though you can shower them with love and things like that, buy them, things that they like, but they will not be happy because the whole atmosphere is just not right. So that's why it is very important that you all maintain a good marital relationship with your spouse. When you have good marital relationship with your spouse, it will definitely be conducive to your children. Okay? And when it comes to love for your children, we have to know that nowadays, sometimes parents are both working. They don't have much time for the children. And so, when for the little time they see their children, usually their communication is, have you done your homework? Tomorrow got spelling or not? Got test or not? Things like that. It's always about, have you done your homework? Tomorrow got test or not? Now, with this kind of communication, can your children feel your love? No. First, your children already hardly see you. Okay? And then when they see you, the first thing you ask is, have you been a good boy? Have you been a good girl? Have you done your homework? Then if they say they have not done, then you start to scold them and things like that. So, with this kind of communication, your children will not be able to feel your love. When they cannot feel your love, they will not be able to develop healthily. Okay? I have seen one of my devotees. She's a very pious Buddhist. She also offers her service at other Buddhist centers. In fact, she's very active. Okay, so she has many children. She has 5 children. Okay, and so I can see that her children all need her love. But I can see that she does not know how to show love to her children. So her children complains to me that, oh, mother seldom have time to talk to them, seldom at home, always go to the center and things like that. So there was once that I mentioned to her that, actually, it'd be good for if she can spend more time with the children and more time talking to them. So she said, I talk to them. I ask them whether they have done their homework. And I ask them, did they clean their room or not? How come they did not clean their room? So I said, oh no. Her communication is in this way. And at that time, she felt that she was too justified that she has spent time with her children and things like that. So I find no chance to talk to her further. Okay, but from what she said, I can see what kind of relationship she had with her children. So this is the thing, and I can see that this actually, similar examples can be found in most Singaporeans. Okay, whereby both parents are working and they don't have much time for the children. Okay, there's this young boy. His parents were divorced. Okay, so he stays with his father, and the father, works overtime every night. So this young boy, he was very pitiful. Okay, I always think, okay, my mother not with me. Now my father always has to work at night. So one day, he asked his father, how much does your company pay you? Okay, does your company pay you overtime when you work at night? So the father asked him, why do you ask this kind of question? So the young boy said, you just let me know. Roughly around, but how much do you earn a month? And how much, roughly, does your company pay you for 1 hour? Okay, so the father calculated and said, oh, it's roughly this money. And then the boy took out his savings and said that, I pay you this few hours tonight, okay? Tomorrow night, please come back early. I pay you this for these few hours. So we can see how desperate, children are just to have time with the parents. Okay, so we have to, as parents, we try to find time, okay, to spend with our children. Okay, some parents, they are too used to working. They are not used to with their children. When they are with their children, they feel a bit awkward. Some parents, that means it's really a very bad sign already. If you feel awkward when you're with your children, that means, it's really, it's a sign that your relationship is not going right, okay? That you feel that you got nothing to speak to your children, you don't know how to relate to your children, then there's really something that we have got to work on, okay? Because every day is passing away, every day is slipping away. If you have not spent time with your children, if you have not shown love to your children, you, in your children's memories, they can't find your image. Your image in your children's memories is always homework, okay, tests, exams, scolding, why you spend so much money, and things like that. To them, it's all these memories. They don't get love from you. Okay? So we must try to learn how to communicate with our children. Really communicate with them. See how are they doing in their school, what happened in their school, not only homework, not only tests and exams. We try to communicate with them. If you can establish a good communication with your children, okay, there will be more family. You will be able to derive more love from this family, okay, from your children, okay, and your children from you. So this is very important. Huh? Okay, so we have just talked on the duties of the parents towards the the duties between the spouse, husband and wife, and how we should relate to our children. Okay. Now, besides fulfilling our duties as a wife, as a husband, okay, besides fulfilling our duties towards the children, sometimes you still suffer, okay, under the name of love. Why do I say that? Yes, you love your children, but do you find that you suffer also? Do you find you suffer? Like if your child tells you that, oh, I fail all my subjects in school, and my teacher wants to see you. How do you feel? You feel very worried, am I not? And then some parents, because of their anxiety over their children's studies, they send their children for tuition class every day after school. They have to go after almost quite a long day at school, they send their children to school. Okay? And then at night when they come back, she will be the tutor also. She'll sit down next to the child and make sure that, come, let me go through with you again. Now, have you done all your homework? Show me, and let me test you again to see that you have learned all your spelling correctly. Now, is it stressful? Is it suffering? Yes. And there are some working women, okay, they took unpaid leaves, okay, just to accompany their children to study for exams. So, all these are stress to the mother, right now. But the mother thinks that, oh, this is my duty, okay? But by fulfilling her duty, actually, she is giving herself a lot of stress. And she's actually giving her children a lot of stress also. That is what I mean by suffering. Okay? We suffer. When we love someone, we suffer. Okay? And some parents, out of goodwill, not only do they send their children for tuition classes, they send their children for various kinds of classes. Music lessons, dancing classes, swimming class, drawing class, okay? So that in order to give them all that they can, okay? Now, all this, they think, I do this out of love for my children. Last time, I don't have this kind of privilege. I want to learn ballet. I don't have a chance. I want to learn piano. I don't have a chance. Now, I will do this all for my children. I send them for piano lesson. I send them for ballet classes and things like that. So you think you are doing something very good for your children. But is that really so? And then I've seen cases whereby some children, they don't like music, but because the mother wants her to go for this music lesson, so every Sunday she pull a long face when she go for a music lesson. So sometimes, under the name of love, we suffer also. We want our children to be happy. We want to give them the best of everything. But they suffer under the name of your love. Oh, now I have to go for tuition. Then after that, I have to go home and do homework. Then tomorrow then after that I have to practice the piano. Tomorrow got piano lesson and things like that. But sometimes the thing is, people don't know that they are suffering. They don't know that they are suffering and they are inflicting suffering on others also. They don't know. Okay? So when we, in the family, in our relationship with our family members, with our spouse, with our children, when we suffer, we have to ask ourselves, why are we suffering? To give love should be a beautiful thing. When we receive love from other people, it should be something very nice, something beautiful. Why is it that when I love my children, I get I'm so suffering? I'm so worried about their studies. I keep pushing them to study and things like that. And my children don't seem to be happy also. Although, this is what I give them, the best of everything. Then that is the time that we have to reflect. So why? What has gone wrong? I have fulfilled my duty as a wife, as a mother. I fulfill my duty. Then why is it that I'm still suffering? What has gone wrong? So what has gone wrong? Why is it that your love can bring you suffering and can bring your children suffering? Where has it gone wrong? Have you all learned about the Four Noble Truths? Four Noble Truths, yes? This is the truth that the Buddha discovered, realized, and he shared with us. That this truth, this four truths, why we say that true? Why do we say that it is truth? Because it applies to everyone. And it applies, not affected by time. Whether now or 2,500 over years ago, this fact still applies. Okay? And what are these facts? First is, there is suffering in life. The second noble truth is, there is the cause of suffering. There's a cause of suffering. The third truth is, this suffering can be ended. And the fourth is, there's a way to the cessation of this suffering. Okay. So the Buddha said, there is suffering in life. And what is the cause of our suffering? Can you remember? Who can remember? What is the cause of our suffering? What is the cause? Anyone? Yes? Attachment. Very good. Craving. Okay? So, the cause of suffering is not in our children. It's not in our spouse. It's not in our environment. The cause of suffering is in us. In our craving. In our attachment. So when you love your children, you also suffer. Why? Because you have this craving. Many times, is you want things to be done in your own way. You want your children to study, to do well in your studies. Best is if you can go to university, okay? And then you already have in mind what he should study. Best if he can be a doctor or be a lawyer, okay? This is your wants. When you send your children for those extra classes, like music lessons, belly dancing, this is also your wants. The wants that you cannot fulfill for yourselves, you give it to your children. This is good for you. Last time I want to learn, I don't have a chance. My family don't have the money to give me, to let me learn. Now, I have the money. I let you learn. But this is your wants. It is not your children's wants. So, we have been pushing for our wants without knowing it. So there are some children, they are very poor thing. Sometimes, some children, their interest is not in study. They have other interests. They are good in other things, not necessarily studying. Okay? Some children, they have interest in music. But some parents, they are very attached to what they think is a good profession. Maybe they think to themselves, I'm a teacher. Your father is also a teacher. We are both teachers. Then why you have interest in music? You should also follow us to become a teacher. If not, you become an engineer. Or you study law or you study medicine. Why you are interested in playing rock music? They really hate it. This child is really a headache to me. And, they can quarrel with the child, forcing him to study, wanting him to go to university. Now, there's so much suffering. And this suffering is caused by your craving. You want things to be in a particular way. And because of your wants, you're creating suffering for yourself. Because when your child does not have the same wants as you, you are creating suffering for him, and then you are creating suffering for yourself. And that's why we suffer under the name of love. We think that we want the best for our children, but the best that we think that it is for our children may not be the best for themselves. Okay? Likewise, for marital relationship, why are you unhappy? Why do you experience dissatisfaction? Because you have your own wants. Okay? Some people, their husband is more of the quiet type. Okay? Then they would think, this husband, so boring. Not like other people's, my friend's husband. They are so humorous. They are so interesting. They like outdoor activities. Not like my husband, so boring. Never bring me out. And then weekends, just stay at home and watch TV. So boring. And when we are together, nothing to say. So boring. So, we are dissatisfied. Because what? Because our own cravings. We want certain kind of love, or certain kind of love to be shown to us. Okay? But if your spouse do not show the kind of love and affection or understanding in the way that you want, then you think that, he's not caring enough. He's not romantic enough. And then you feel very dissatisfied in your mind. Okay? And then the husband also dissatisfied with the wife, thinking, my friend's wife, more jovial, more cheerful, more fashionable, know how to have more taste, more knowledgeable, and then they want their wife to be capable also, to be a good cook, to be knowledgeable, to be presentable in front of their friends, to be able to be eloquent and things like that. And all this, this cravings. We are not satisfied. We are not satisfied with what we have. Okay? So, many a times, the dissatisfaction that we experience in marriage, okay, that we experience in our relationship with our children, is due to our cravings, our own cravings. So, it is because of self-love. We suffer because of self-love. We want things to be done in a certain way. That's why when our children do not listen to us, do not study well, do not study the subjects that we want them to study, we are not happy. Okay? And when our spouse do not show the kind of affection or love to us that we think that they should show to us, we are not happy. We are not happy with them. So this is actually our own cravings. Okay? During the Buddha's time, there's this king called King Pasenadi. Okay, he has a queen called Queen Malika. Queen Malika, before she became a queen, she was an ordinary girl. Okay, she was selling flowers. Okay, so it's one day. Okay, when King Pasenadi, okay, he went for a battle, and then he lost in the battle. And then on his way back, when he passed by this garden, he saw this flower girl, which is the future Queen Malika. Okay, and this flower girl happened to, to console him and things like that, and he felt very nice, and then he married her, okay, and made her the queen. Okay, so from a flower girl, she was being lifted up to a queen, and after that, King Pasenadi loved this queen very much, and he loved her and doted her and things like that. So one day, King Pasenadi asked Queen Malika, Queen, is there anyone who is dearer to you than yourself? So the king asked his queen this question, and King Pasenadi thought to himself that she should answer in this way, that she loved me more than she loved herself, because I gave her everything. From a poor flower girl, now she's a queen and she has everything. So she should be grateful to me, and her answer should be she loved me more than she loved herself. Okay. So Queen Malika thought for a while, and then she said, although she loves the king, but she replied the king that in this world there's no one dearer to me than myself. I love myself the most. Okay? The king of course was not happy. Okay, so the queen asked the king back, how about you, king? Is there anyone in this world who is dearer to you, more dearer to you than yourself? So the king said, sing for me. There's no one who is dearer than me to myself in this world. Okay. So after that conversation, the king, when the king met the Buddha, okay, later in the day, the king, shared his conversation with the queen, with the Buddha, and the Buddha said, yes, indeed, everyone in this world, we love ourselves the most. Okay. So when we don't have the awareness, okay, sometimes we may think that we love others. We love our husband, our wife, our children. But in actual fact, we have the most love for ourselves. Okay? We want things to be done in a certain way. So when we have this, when we are attached to what we want, to the way things are, when we are attached to how people should love us, that is craving. And that is the source of our suffering. Okay? We cannot say that, he's such a boring husband. He's not romantic like like the husband of the other girlfriends. But it is your own cravings. If your husband has fulfilled his duty to you, he is being faithful to you, he's a good husband. Okay? But if you say that, he's so boring, he has nothing to say to me, well, then that is your own cravings. And our suffering, our dissatisfaction is because our own cravings. Okay? Our own wants. Okay? So if we are mindful of our own cravings, we will know how to love others. Okay? Genuinely care for their well-being and happiness. Like your children. If you truly love them, you will know that, letting them attend so many classes is really too stressful for them. It should not be like that. And if your children have interest in other things other than studies, maybe your child is interested in cooking. He has no interest in study. So if you really genuinely care and love your child, you say that it's okay, never mind. If you have no interest in studies, never mind. If this is what you are interested in, okay, in cooking, or in drawings, I send you for these courses. You just do what you like. So in this way, you are not imposing your cravings on them. You are not inflicting suffering on them, and you will not bring suffering to yourself. Okay. And then if you know that, if you're mindful of your own cravings, you will not blame your husband for every night coming back, just watch TV, just read newspapers and not talk to you. You know that after a whole days of hard work, yes, your husband needs some time. He has been talking a lot at work. So let him rest. Don't talk, never mind. Let him read his newspapers. Let him watch his TV. Let him relax and unwind his stress. You will not think that, you never show concern to me, no. Then what is this? No. Then we'll see that, this is my cravings. We should not impose on others. So you see, our cravings, we must always remember, the cause of our suffering is always within ourselves. It's in our wants. It's in our wants, our cravings. Okay. Another cause of suffering, okay, when we love others, is what? Just now, one is craving. Another cause of suffering when we love others is wrong view. What do I mean by wrong view? When we think that this is my husband, okay? this is my wife. These are my children, mine. When you have this view that they are yours, this is a wrong view that will bring you suffering. Why do I say wrong view? Because such view is not correct. There's no one in this world who belongs to you. There's nothing in this world that truly belongs to us. Okay? Your husband is not yours. It's not yours. He has his own thinking. He has his own likes and dislikes. He has his own character. But we always think in this way. You are my husband. So, being my husband, you should be more caring, more loving, more understanding. And then the husband will think, you are my wife. So being my wife, you should be more understanding, you should be more patient, you should be more loving. You should. So because of this wrong view that of mine, okay, so there is an expectation. An expectation is there. Being put to this label, husband. You're not my husband, you're just a colleague, never mind. I will not have expectation of you. But you are my husband. How can you say such a thing to me? How can you be so harsh to me? If it's my boss, never mind, I can let go. But you are my husband. Why is it that you're so impatient to me? Why you use such harsh words at me? You can't take it. Because why? You are attached to that. He is your husband. Attached to this label husband and that certain expectation being attached to the word husband. And that he is yours. Then definitely there's suffering. That's why people suffer. And you are my children. So when your children fall sick, very worried. Very worried. My children fall sick. You rather take over the sickness. You suffer from your sickness. You want your children to be well. Okay? When your children don't do well in studies, mix with bad company, very worried. So, but the thing is, why we suffer is because we don't know that they are not ours. Whatever relationship that we have in this life is the condition for this life only. In this life, these are your children. Okay? So your duties to your children is, the Buddha said, okay, the duties of a parents towards the children is to guide them from evils, to persuade them to do good, to encourage them to do good, okay, to give them education, to make sure that they find a suitable partner for marriage, and then to hand over their inheritance to them at the proper time. Okay? So as parents, what we do is we fulfill our duties. Okay? Yes, actually, I can understand that it is very natural. Because the bonds between parents and children are such that the parents are very anxious, very worried over their children. Okay? But we have to understand the truth. The truth is that nothing in this world is really ours. Okay? Nothing in this world is really ours. So whatever conditions that we have now in this life, okay, we fulfill our duties. But whether or not, like you fulfill your duties as a parent, you try to guide your child from evils, you encourage them to do good, you give them good education and things like that. But whether or not they really have happiness for themselves, it still depends on their own merits. It still depends on their own karma. This part is, you can't do much. What you can do as a parent, you do for them. You provide them a shelter. You provide them the care and love. You give them food. You give them education. You give them advice. But whether or not they are really happy ultimately, whether or not they mix with the right company and things like that, sometimes it's their own karma. They have to if it is their karma that they have to go through certain suffering, they still need to go through certain suffering. But as parents, we go through with them, we support them. Okay, so this is it. We must have the understanding that the children are not ours. We are simply playing the role as parents in this life towards them. We are simply playing this role, but they are not really ours. If they are really ours, we will be able to determine their gender, right? Not when they are in your womb, you can say that, hey, I want this to be a boy, I want this to be a girl, but you cannot determine their gender. And if your children are really yours, you can determine that, oh, I want them to be clever, I want them to be guai, to be of good character. But they are not. Some children, they are of such different character from their parents. That is due to their own individual karma. So we must understand that our children are not really ours. Okay? It's only a label that they are our children. We are only a condition for them to come to this world. But they are not really ours. So what we can do is only to fulfill our duties towards them. Okay? To try to provide for them, to try to guide them, to try to give them all the love and protection and guidance. But ultimately, okay, they have their own individual karma and individual merits. This is the thing. So, when you can understand this, that our children are not really ours, you will not cling so hard. You will not suffer so much. But without such right understanding, with a wrong view that they are my children. Oh, now they are going through a very difficult time. How? And then you worry, and things like that. You suffer. They suffer, you suffer. Okay? But with the right understanding, you know, yes, they are my children. Okay? But they have their own karma. What I can do for them, I try to do for them. But other than that, you will be able to understand that, oh, this is their karma. Okay, this is their merits. If they have to go through certain suffering, they will still need to go through certain suffering. But as parents, our duty is we stand by them. We go through the suffering with them. So we will not be tormented by another suffering of craving, that we want our children to be successful, we want our children to be well and happy, to be, okay and things like that. We will not be tormented by this craving because we know that he has his own karma. Okay? So you must know this. So when we have the right view that nobody in this world is really ours, nothing in this world is really ours, we will not cling so much. We will not expect so much. Okay? And at the time of death, we will be able to accept death better. We will not think that, oh, my mother passing away. Oh, so sad, so sad. Why do we suffer when our loved ones pass away? Because we suffer because we think that someone belonging to us, we have lost this someone who has belonged to us. We have lost this person. But in the first place, we don't possess anyone. We must understand this. In this world, in this lifetime, okay, now we have this, your condition with this person is parents and child, okay? Your condition with this person, your karmic link with this person is not as husband and wife. But for your past life, your karmic links with this person may not be the same. For this life, yes, this person may be your wife. But actually, this person may not be your wife in your past life. Okay? She may be just a neighbor in your past life. And for your next life, who is going to be your wife, you don't know. Okay? So, nothing is permanent. So we must understand that everything is just conditions. So, since it's just conditions, so in this life, now, our conditions, our karmic link is that now, in this life, I'm the parents of these children. Okay? I will fulfill my duties as parents to my children. Okay, but I know that they have their own karma. But what I can do is I try to support them. I try to guide them. I try to give them the love and protection. But other than that, they are not truly yours. They have their own individual karma. When you can understand this, you will not cling so hard. Okay? And for husband and wife also, you know that in this life, your karmic link with this person is spouse. Okay? Then, but how is it? This will you be husband and wife in future? Then you don't know. It's not something that you can cling on, that you can decide. So we just appreciate whatever karmic links that we have with whatever people, okay? And we fulfill our duties towards them. That is what we can do, okay? So we must understand that, okay, in Buddhism, the Buddha also recognized that love is essential. Love is essential to a person's happiness. Okay, love is essential. But how to love without suffering? This is the thing. Every one of us in this world wants love. But every one of us suffer when we are in love, right? When we love our children, when we love our husband, our wife, when we love our parents, every one of us suffer. So we must understand, why is it that we suffer? Why do we suffer under the name of love? Okay? Because of our own cravings. Okay? And because of our wrong views. We cling to this, to it that this is my father. This is my mother. Mine. So when they die, I lost a loved one. Okay? So actually, at the ultimate level, at the level of truth, there is no loss. We have died many times already. Okay, we have died many times before this life. We will die this life, and we will die many times in future also before we gain enlightenment. Okay, and when our loved ones pass away, don't be too sad, because we have parted with our loved ones before in our past life. Then this life we meet them again, right? So in future you will meet again. You and your loved ones will meet again. It's like that. Life is like that. It's a cycle. It goes on and on. So when you understand this truth, you know that there's nothing to cling on. But when we do not understand this truth, and we cling on that this is my children, my husband, my wife, my parents, we really suffer. Okay? So this is the thing. So we love. We do cultivate love. But we love with understanding, with the right understanding that no one truly belongs to us. We are fulfilling our duties. Okay? And then we love, not out of craving for our own interests, but we love genuinely caring for the welfare and benefits of others. That is, this kind of love will not bring suffering to ourselves. And it will not bring suffering to other people. Okay? You have any questions?
Yes, any question? Here we are. Dr. Yo.
Good evening, Venerable. 2 questions.
Okay.
How would you introduce the Dhamma to children who are not interested? 2, what if a child is, say, addicted to computer games and doesn't want to study? How would you tackle that?
Okay. Yeah, I think this is the concern of most Buddhist parents. When children are addicted to computer games, how do you discipline them? Okay. I think first of all, we should not use too harsh method. Okay, we must give them an understanding that yes, this is their interest. This is what they love to play. Okay, you can limit their time that they spend on computer games. You can limit their time. But don't totally ban them from computer games or scold them whenever you see them at the computer. This will affect the communication with your children. Okay? But give the understanding that, last time, actually times has changed. In the past, at your times, the games that you play maybe is more outdoor games. You go outings with your friends and things like that. But nowadays, children, their most convenient pastime is computer. So we have to give understanding to that. Okay, and maybe we can just give them a time limit when they play computer. And then how to introduce Dhamma to them, right? I think the best way to introduce Dhamma to them is by showing example. That how we can change ourselves, how we can be, a loving and an understanding parents after we learn the Dhamma, okay? And then we can get them to follow you to the temple or to the Buddhist center to listen to the Dhamma talks, to meet up with the venerables. So in this way, they learn something. They get to understand what religion, what Buddhism is all about. So I think in terms of Buddhist education, it is very necessary in order to reach out to these youngsters. Okay, this is my suggestion. Okay.
A related question asked by Dhamma's sister here. Is the cause of suffering for the following scenario due to craving a wrong view? That is, a mother who is a Buddhist suffer because she discovered that her child is deviating from the Buddhist path. For example, distracted by followers of other religion. So should she accept it as the child's karma and let go?
Okay. So actually, as parents, we have the duty to introduce Buddhism to our children. Okay, this is the duty as a parent. Okay, we know that Dhamma is good, so we have this duty to introduce what we think is beneficial for them, not only in this life, but in all future lives to them. So we have this duty. But at the same time, we must also be able to recognize that if it is your the condition of your child to go to church and things like that, we should also give the understanding. Okay? But first of all, of course, we should try to introduce Dhamma to them. But if, let's say, ultimately your child still choose to go to church, I feel that then we should let him have the right. He has the right to choose his own religion. Okay? Yeah. So long as the religion that he's following is an orthodox religion, a religion that teaches him morality. Okay? Then I think it's okay. Recently there's this lady, she wanted to bring her brother to come and see me. Because she said that her brother she feels that her brother is rather unhappy at his work and things like that. Okay, so I said okay. So we fixed an appointment, which is a month later because of my tight schedule. So by the time when I met up with this young boy, he was already a Christian. Okay, it happens that 2 weeks before he came to see me, he went to church. And before he went to church, he told his sister that, he would like to go to church. So, being Buddhist, her sister said, yeah, okay, you can go to church and take a look. But who knows, when he went to church, he just felt so inspired. And then he said that he wanted to become a Christian. Okay, so 2 weeks later, after he decided to be a Christian, then he told, when he was about to, because our appointment was fixed 1 month ago, so he said, oh no, can I have to go and see Venerable? Now I'm a Christian. So his sister said, it's okay. I don't think Venerable would mind. Just come, okay? And I can see that, as a young man, after accepting Christianity, he is more confident of himself. He finds more meaning in life. He's a happier person. His sister also can see that. So to me, I think it's okay. So long as, he finds strength, he finds inspiration from his religion, okay, and his religion is teaching him something good, then it's okay. I feel that, we should not enforce our thinking or belief on other people. I think it's perfectly all right. In the first place, during the Buddha's time, the Buddha also never say that he's not so concerned as converting people into his followers. He's not concerned about that. But rather, he's more concerned about, the happiness of people. So there was this soldier, okay, after listening to the Dhamma talk of the Buddha, he was very inspired. And he said, Buddha, please accept me as your follower. I take refuge. I go to the Buddha for refuge. And then the Buddha cautioned him. The Buddha said, don't be in a hurry to become my follower. Because you are a person of a certain status. So think carefully before you want to become my follower. Okay? So the soldier said, I'm very inspired by your talk. That's why I want to become your follower. And now that when I want to express my wish to become your follower, you say this thing to me. Which, if it is other religious teacher, they will say that, good, I welcome you because you are a person of influence. They welcome me. But instead, Buddha, you ask me to think twice because I'm a person of influence. All the more, I respect you. I will go to you for refuge. Okay? So the Buddha cautioned him again. And then for the third time, when the soldier requested, the Buddha said, okay. And then the Buddha said, but although now you are my follower, okay, please continue with your offerings and support for your previous religion. Okay? Do not stop supporting them. You should continue to support them. So you see how magnanimous the Buddha is. Okay? So the Buddha is not so much concerned about converting people into his religion, but rather that, whatever his teachings, whatever teachings he gave, the Buddha said, whatever teachings that I gave, if you find that is suitable for you, for your well-being, okay, you can accept it, you can take it. Whatever that you find that is not suitable, you can leave it, it's okay. So that is the standpoint of the Buddha. So I think as parents, first of all, as parents, we have the duty to introduce the Dhamma to our children. This is very important. We cannot be too open-minded and say that, never mind lah. They want to come with me to the temple, they come. They don't want, never mind. When they are grown up, then let them make their own choice. Then that is also not right. We are not fulfilling the duty as a parents. Since we know that Dhamma is so good, okay, we have the duty to pass something good to them. So we should try to introduce Dhamma to them at a young age. Okay? If you don't introduce Dhamma to them, when their friends introduce their religion to them, then it is very difficult for you to get them back, right? But if after you have made the effort to introduce Dhamma to them, and if really it is their choice, okay, their condition that they want to follow another religion, it's okay. So long as this religion also teaches morality, it is okay. But one important thing is that your children can be of different religion from you, it's okay. But you must request that your funeral wake must be a Buddhist one. This is very important. You have to stand firm. Some children, okay, after converting to their religion, they come back to want to convert their parents. You see? So you must stand firm as parents that I give you the respect. I give you the respect to let you have the choice to follow the religion that you want. Then you must respect me. Okay? And not try to convert me to your religion. Okay? So I'm a Buddhist, and I want my rights, my funeral rights, to be a Buddhist one. You must state this very clearly. Okay? Okay. Yeah, so this is my answer.
Yes. Any other question?
Any other questions?
Oh.
Yes.
Good evening, Venerable.
Yes.
First thing, I think I'm the only youth in this room full of adults. Okay. I find that there are increasing cases of youths, because their parents do not seem to offer them much parental love. They tend to turn to BGR, teen relationships,
Yes.
to substitute that parental love. So I want to ask, what is your view on BGR, and also if the reason why they turn to BGR is because of the lack of parental love, what kind of solutions do you suggest? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it is true that when children, when they don't find that kind of emotional support and love from their parents, usually they will look for love in a boy-girl relationship. Okay? So, my advice is, if it is not actually very conducive, it's not very conducive for young children to go into BGR. Okay? Because this boy-girl relationship it will be more of a hindrance than a conducive factor for that stage, for youngsters at that stage. Okay, it is okay to be friends, to go out in groups. Okay, but it is not very conducive to get too intimate and close at a young age. Okay, young age meaning secondary school years. Okay, but if like JC onwards, I think youngsters at that age are still more matured. But if it's at secondary school years, usually youngsters are not matured at all. What they know about love is from TV. They think that it is just so simple like that. And there are all the wrong views about this love thing. Okay, so actually they will bring themselves more suffering in future. Okay, so but if let's say youngsters at the junior college, at the age of junior college or poly or university age, I think it's okay. But anyway, I would not encourage premarital sex because that is to have sexual relationship. I feel that sexual relationship should come with responsibilities, duties and responsibilities. Okay, so actually, it's also not conducive to indulge in this kind of relationship, because when we indulge in physical relationship, okay, you will not be able to understand the other party. Okay, and actually, mentally, you actually feel very hollow also, very lonely inside the mind. Okay, it's just physically satisfying the needs. Okay, so for children who do not receive much love at home, they should, after learning the Dhamma, they should cultivate love in their mind. In fact, all of us should cultivate love within ourselves. Okay? When we don't know Dhamma, we depend on other people for love. We depend on other people for our happiness. But when we know Dhamma, we know that we are the master of our own life. We can give ourselves happiness. Okay? So, we don't blame our parents when they don't give us enough love. But we have understanding that they are also suffering. They also want love. They are also suffering. So when we know Dhamma, we cultivate love from within us. We try to show love to our parents. We try to show love to our siblings. So this is how we can do as a Buddhist youth. Okay? Yeah. Any other question?
Anybody? Oh, yes.
Actually, I just have a comment to add on to what you have said. I think in cases where youth like that, who are deprived, if you can bring them, if the Buddhist groups are active, the youth groups are active, and there are mentors there, you can be a very valuable support for them and build up their self-esteem and hopefully steer them from further bad influences outside, because they can find it in a fun way and it's a good way, and because maybe parents cannot provide that. So if Buddhist youth groups can do that, it's quite powerful.
Yes. Yeah. Any other questions? Are you from the youth group here? So I think this is a good suggestion indeed. Since you recognize that there's this growing trend in the youth, this is how we can reach out to the Buddhist youth. Okay. No questions?
Okay, no question. Maybe I'll just make a comment. As you said, tonight's topic is on, in a way, relationship, family love, romantic love, marriage, etc. A lot of the times we may think that we so-called love the other party, whether it's family or romantic or whatever. But it's, you have to actually sometimes have to look deep within yourself. When you say you love, it's actually, you think you love the other person, but ineffectively, or that person, so to speak, as a story that you said earlier on, actually boils down to actually we love ourselves more. Because you say you love that person, is because that person is giving you so-called satisfaction. In a way, it's satisfying your needs. So, if you turn it ultimately, it is actually your self-love that leads to so-called your love for the other person. So a lot of people say, I love you, but really, they love themselves. I used to say that. But you need to think very carefully, then you can come to that conclusion. Otherwise, you will keep saying that, I love you, but so it's good to know that actually most of this talk that we love you, we have to be honest with ourselves. Do we actually ultimately we actually love ourselves, as your story goes, more than actually the other person? Okay. So